have a look at this little baby.
Oh, that's an old one too.
Ooh,
that's
antique.
antique.
Oh, it's
That's
solid.
what I'm looking for.
My goodness.
Overnight.
See how it looks?
And here is what it looks like, all cleaned up and polished.
There you go.
Oh, you little beauty.
That's sitting there on the top.
Today we're looking for a good spot to start detecting.
These kind of spots you get lots of coins, especially $2 coins. If you can set the discriminator and just do this grass. Last time I came here I got about $40 worth of $2 and $1 coins.
Coins are a good indicator of the history of the area.
And that's the beach right there.
We are very lucky here to have a huge variety of rivers and beaches and quite a lot of history as well.
And a lot of these rocks around here are highly mineralized, so we're taking a pulse induction, and this detector is pretty good at pinpointing.
Finding rusty bits of metal as well.
Oh yeah.
If you are going to have a good chance of finding historical gold in a mineralized area, then using the discriminator function on the detector is not advisable, because it makes the detector less stable and more prone to false signals.
A lot of the detectors we use here have a lot of trouble. These rocks are very magnetic, but the Goldfinder seems to be working pretty good here.
That's not entirely true. Some VLF machines cope very well with mineralization and can discriminate iron very effectively as well. However, there are many factors which determine the best instrument for the job.
Also,
something different.
We can't use the large shovels because they won't get through these rocks.
Don't know what that is. Can you focus on that?
Yeah.
Looks like a piece of brass.
Yeah, it's pretty sensitive.
Finding bits of brass means we are getting non-ferrous metals, and gold belongs to that group. One of the most interesting aspects of treasure hunting is never knowing what you'll dig up next.
Yeah, there's another one here. Never found anything like this before, but it's good. I think it might be British as well. It's got, I think that says steel on it, so it can't be that old. It looks like it's been chrome plated. It's got some maker's marks on it, WD. Looks like it's got a line, something else. An anchor maybe. Not too sure what it is. Looks like a girly tool or something. Looks like that's where you hold it with your thumb. It's got some more stampings there. Can you get on, focus on any of them? I'd like to know what this is here though. Never found anything like that before. And this is the rubbish that I've dug up so far to find those targets. Oh yeah, but a bit of a couple of bits of wire, a couple of modern coins. That's just massive and heavy. But yeah, probably got about 20 bits of junk to about 4 good targets. So it's 1.5. That's pretty good. We'll keep on going along, but that's just thought I'd show you what I've got so far, give you an idea of the ratio. And that's just working around here on the rocks. What's happened is that you see there's some machinery over there, and this is I've been to this spot so many times after time you think that there's nothing left to find. That machinery was over here about 2 weeks ago, trying to put up all these new concrete barriers here. And basically what they've done is they've shifted the problem for one place, trying to create it, to another place. So by them doing that, they've exposed a whole heap of new ground here with just countless amounts of targets, and hopefully we can find some nice gold.
Finding old coins is a good indication of the age of the potential finds, and finding gold in these spots can produce a nice reward.
I think it's another 1 cent piece. I thought I had a threepence.
They can be very difficult to spot and even more difficult to clean.
Oh, hang on, I do. No, I don't. It's 1 cent. Anyway, it'd be unusual to anyone that's not from Australia. It's got a little possum on it. Is it a possum?
Yeah.
Ringtail possum? Yeah. One of our little mammals. Look at this. Yeah. Targets everywhere.
Listening to the sound of a target is often more reliable than using a discriminator.
See how I go around the target? You can see the lighting up here, and then I'll go around it. So the target's giving me a signal from there to there. It seems to be a bit sharper here, but it's a relatively small target. It's a nice, strong, sharp one, and I'll get right on top of it, so that's what we're looking for.
We are using this detector for a good reason. It is great for pinpointing and finding small items around rocks, particularly in mineralised areas.
Well, bit of a nail, I think. Snapped off a bit of a nail. That could have been a small coin or a slightly deeper ring. Finding some very interesting things here today, very interesting things.
This is a clear indication that the old timers used to build their houses and huts along the banks of the river passages, and any gold found in these parts are particularly valuable, although the brass nail should have given a double blip, clearly indicating that it was long and thin and not a gold item, unless of course it was lying on its end. We have found that finding gold items does involve a little luck, but you can increase your chances if you work at it.
Got him up.
A lot of people don't realise just how powerful the signal is on that detector. It's not only is it operating the light, but it's also a strong audio.
Yeah. Let's see if I can.
Okay, yeah. So that's what you're hearing, but I'm seeing the light flashing as well. It's probably not showing up very well on the camera.
One of the advantages of having a loop light is to try to eliminate the necessity of carrying around a pinpointer. But it still means you're probably going to have to get your hands dirty.
It's pretty small actually.
Yeah, it's pretty sensitive. Might have to turn its sensitivity down a bit.
Turning down the sensitivity will mean you will lose the very small items, but you won't lose much depth on the larger items such as coins, gold rings and other gold items.
What is that? Not too sure what that one is. A chunk of something. Doesn't look like it's of any value to me though. Chunk of, oh hang on. Is that a shape of something? I don't know.
It's pretty heavy.
Yeah, I think it's lead. Is it a shape of something or just a bit of...
Probably a lead cast from an old bullet or something.
I've got a really strong signal here.
Finding lead is actually a very good sign, because gold and lead sink to the bottom and are often found on a clay or a rock bottom.
Come on, be an old coin. Gotta love them rocks. That's why we're not using our big shovels today.
Yeah, you won't get through those rocks. You need a pick or a small hand tool.
I think there's a big bit of metal down there.
Yeah.
Massive
Big
piece of lead.
chunk of metal. Oh, crikey.
Yep.
Yeah.
I don't even want to carry that around.
We
We're
do
here today.
find gold,
Find some of the
just keep
antiques.
watching.
That'll clean up really nice. Oh well, it just goes to show we get our share of rubbish as well.
We eyeballed what we think still, we're not too sure. I put it on the Facebook page, gold necklace. Looks to be 9 carat, it's absolutely tarnished to the max, but we eyeballed it. Before I even ran a detector over it, I seen it there, I took a photo of it, how it was just sitting there. So there's like gold sitting on the top, or potentially gold. As I said, we still don't know what it is.
Yeah, chains are pretty hard to be picked up by any detector. They don't particularly like them.
That is very true.
Yeah, but coins and rings, I know that thing will get them down about nearly a foot. Got a gold locket here a while ago. That was pretty cool. It's pretty hard to see a lot of the targets in this black mud, but all the heavier things get stuck. So we're on the right spot. This is where all the heavier items are.
People have seen the light flashing as well. People have seen the light flashing a lot and me not digging them. Yes, they are targets, and yes, I'm not digging them, but I'm looking for the sharp ones that are sitting on the top because it's just an abundance of signals here. I'd rather just be picking up what's on the top because we've proven that there's sinkers, gold rings, old coins, even from the late 1800s floating around here. So we don't need to dig heaps of targets. That's why we're using this detector, because it's a bit better at pinpointing, it's a bit smaller. Later on when we go over there where it's a bit more white, we'll probably pull the mine lab out just to go for a few of the deeper ones.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a coin sitting right there. That's what I was talking about. See the copper coin?
Oh yeah, yeah. So we get a lot of old items here. Give us a look. Hang on.
There's a couple of other signals around here, so I might get them too.
Alright, we're on the money. That's an old, very old coin, that one.
This is a bit smaller, or maybe a bit deeper. This a bit deeper. I think I've seen a nail. Oh no.
Bit of rubbish.
No, it's not it either.
No. It'll be just our luck that it's a gold ring and we'll catch it on camera.
What is it?
Platinum.
No way, can't focus. Darren? Just camera can't focus when it's close, okay?
I'll show you a couple of coins we picked up over there before. There's a shilling.
Oh yeah, cool. Shilling.
Yeah.
Some of those
And a
are...
penny, which is absolutely wrecked. That'd be half penny, sorry.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, but some of those are worth collecting.
Yeah, yeah. If you get the right date, even if it is in pretty shot condition, it's still good to add to like missing pieces, and some of them still do fetch a little bit of money even if they're shot, as long as you can make out the date.
All
But
right, hang on,
one
hang on,
interesting thing that I found just sitting here, I've picked it up already, but I threw it back down, is that we've been finding coins here that are made in England, that are not from Australia, like the, I think they're half crowns or something like that. And it's interesting because we find lots of bits of broken pottery around here as well. And this is the first one that can be sort of ID'd, and it does say that it's English, it's from England. Might not be particularly old, this one here, but it's nice to know we're actually getting old British stuff here. And what I'll do is what I wanted to show everybody here is one of the targets that I found, and this is just proof that things sit on the top here. You don't need a special detector. I seen it with my eyes, and I thought it was like the inside of a bit of a bottle top, like it had a little plastic bit. I waved the detector over and the trigger, and I thought, oh yeah, that's cool. But anyway, focus the camera on that. I already know what it is, but that's exactly how it is. I have not touched it. A silver coin.
Yeah, point to it again.
Can you see it?
Yeah, I can see it, but I'm not sure I can see it on the camera. Okay.
There you go.
Oh, you little beauty.
That's sitting there on the top. Doesn't even look like it's seen much salt water. What date is she?
It's a very old shilling.
1914. No, 1940. That's actually a nice, pleasant find, being not like it. I don't need to clean it.
Yeah, so there's old stuff here. If we find any old jewellery,
Yeah,
that's a fair bit.
Yeah, I like old jewellery, old stuff.
Last time we were here, we found a gold and silver Harley Davidson ring right in that spot there.
It's always a good idea to look around, as you never know what's around the corner.
It's actually very windy today. We've had some big storm surges, but as you can see, the beach is being smashed pretty hard by the storm. Along that gutter is where we'll be checking for rings. Looks like there's some rips over here that's very good detecting around these rip areas. So how come you're using a large coil?
Because being a PI, it picks up absolutely everything. So the bigger the coil is, the less sensitive it is.
Especially to the small rubbish things
and
like...
all of the small nails and stuff. So the bigger the coil, the less sensitive it is. So the less likely it is to find maybe really small threepences, bobby pins, and a lot of the small garbage. That bobby pin was only a just whisper, and that was only a couple of inches down. So that's good.
What about rings?
Go bigger still, because I don't want to be picking up that small stuff. I only want rings in the size of about 20 cent pieces up.
So we're getting some pretty good depth on the rings, aren't we?
And then we strike gold.
It's funny, I was just being a little bit negative. I said that it happens when you least expect it, or when you're just about ready to give up. I haven't come out with the best attitude today, haven't had the best week. But you know what? Digging that out of that hole, and you know what? The standard coil wouldn't have found that. That was really, really deep. Have a look at this little baby.
Ooh, that's an old one too.
Ooh,
That's
ooh,
antique.
baby.
Oh, it's
That's
solid.
what I'm looking for.
My goodness.
That's an antique.
It's a solid one.
And you know, it's got a beautiful pattern on the front of it. Look at that. Have a close look.
Oh wow, that's been in the water for a while.
Yeah. That's why we're here today, to find some of the antiques.
That'll clean up really nice.
She's a heavy one.
That's from the dates of the early settlers. I know this area here had a lot of settlers.
Yeah, without putting the bridge in it, please.
Yeah.
I don't like giving away too many of those spots. That was very deep though. That was, God, how deep could I say it was? See, it's all collapsing in on itself now. It was about that deep. Yeah, about that deep.
Yeah, that's about 1.5 feet deep.
We went to about the top of that. How deep did we work out that is? This one's much
About 15 inches, sorry.
15 inches is a strong sound. Instead of giving a sharp sound, this is an interesting tip that I've noticed with all the detectors we've got. Instead of giving a sharp sound, which like a small sinker, or even a large sinker sometimes do, it gave a broad one. I actually thought it was a Coke can. It gave a really broad signal. It's like it was that long. So all that green stuff around it gave it a nice reactive sort of a, magnetic field down there. And it really put off a really large signal. I could have gone another 5-10 inches on that.
That was actually found on a black clay bottom.
What we're trying to do is we got our 9 carat ring that we found, and it's got a massive build up. It's clearly 9 carat. This would not happen to any other carat.
It's about 10 grams too, isn't it?
Yeah, we got about 9.8 grams. So maybe after all the foreign material's gone off, it'll come down to about 9 grams. So what we're going to do is we'll put this to the side here. We've got this product here, CLR.
Okay.
Now, by all means, if anyone complains or says it's the wrong thing to do, we could be wrong. But it's cleaned up 9 carat for us really quick. You only leave it in the product shortly, then you go sit it in the vinegar to help break down the foreign material. So we'll pop a little bit of that in here, and you watch the bubbles come off it. And you'll see the bubbles will come off all around the green stuff. Give it a minute. Can you see it there? Focus on that.
Yeah.
See, it's coming from all around there. But anyway, we'll leave that to sit for about a couple of minutes, and you'll watch, it'll just poke right off and it'll just fall apart. Now, as you can see, I've had a couple of little just like prods at it, and you can see all of it, it's just breaking apart, falling away from it. We don't want to leave it in there for too long. If it was a high carat ring, we would, because it's not going to affect the other metals that are actually in a 9 carat, but 9 carat's only 37% gold, so it's got a lot of copper and things that which the CLR is not designed, that will break down that actual metals, and we want to try to keep the ring intact. So we've done our job now. We're going to go sit in some white vinegar overnight.
See how it looks?
And here is what it looks like, all cleaned up and polished.